To channel. Today we are going to see about chronic ischemic heart disease. So what is this? It is nothing but it describes the progressive heart failure as a consequence of ischemic myocardial damage. So first let us understand it. Ischemic means low blood supply. Myocardial means to the muscle of heart. So from heart outside to inside, first the pericardium, next middle myocardium and inner endocardium. So myocardium, it's a contractile part of the heart. So ischemic myocardium, that is low blood supply to the myocardial part. The term ischemic cardiomyopathy is generally used by clinicians to describe the chronic ischemic heart disease. So this is nothing. Ischemic heart disease means that is low blood supply to which part? That is especially to myocardial part, leading to this disease. So what happens in this? Let us understand. It is mainly prior to MI, that is myocardial infarction. So whenever any person has a myocardial infarction, that is infarct in a heart muscle, then these patients are more chance to have this chronic IHD. And sometimes the previous coronary arterial interventions undergoes bypass surgery. So whoever has the bypass surgery or coronary arterial interventions, they also have high risk to get this. So this IHD usually appears the post infarction due to the functional decompensation of hypertrophied non-infarcted myocardium. So what is this? Let us understand. So it appears especially in post infarction, that is as we said after MI, due to the functional decompensation of hypertrophied non-infarcted myocardium. Actually before that is without myocardium infarction, the muscle is normal, but after this the muscle becomes hypertrophied, that is it is increased in size, especially of the left ventricle. So this leads to the compression of the that particular myocardium, and this is also leading to this IHD. And also other cases like severe obstructive coronary artery disease, and also you can see in the absence of prayer. So sometimes this is important. Other cases are severe obstructive coronary artery disease may present as chronic IHD in the absence of prior infarction. So in all other cases we have said that the patient already has the infarction and now he is getting chronic IHD, but the patients who have coronary artery disease, they doesn't have prior infarction. So this we need to remember. Coming to morphology. So heart from the patient. So this disease patient, if we check the heart from them, we understand that usually there is enlarged because of hypertrophy. Understand the meaning. Hypertrophy. Hyper means increase, trophy means cells. So increase in the number of cells. So that leads to, not number of cells, that is increase in size of the cell. So as this, for example, this is heart, it becomes myocardium, then for example of left ventricle, so it becomes like this more, that is nothing but dilated, so enlarged and heavy due to the left ventricular hypertrophy. As I said, only majorly because of from left ventricle only blood pumps to the aorta and systemic circulation, so it plays a major role. So mainly left ventricle hypertrophy and dilation. As the muscle is getting thicker, it is nothing but it is getting dilated like this. And the degree of obstructive coronary atherosclerosis. So what is this coronary atherosclerosis? So whenever there is a blood vessel, atherosclerosis means formation of plaque. As the plaque is formed, the artery is occluded so that the blood is not flowing freely. So this is nothing but coronary coronary means in coronary artery. Then it is known as coronary atherosclerosis. So the discrete scars representing the heel infarcts are usually present. So the mural endocarditis may have patchy fibrous thickening. So what happens now? Scar forms. In the repair process, scars are formed in the process of healing. So but we know that scars are not contractile, means as they are not contracting, this leads to severe heart failure and also causes a mural endocarditis. So, mural endocardium have patchy fibrous thickenings and mural mural thrombi may be present. And microscopic thrombi, that is also an occlusion which is mainly made by blood clotting like that. And the microscopic findings include the myocardial hypertrophy, diffuse subendocardial vacuolization and also fibrosis. So now we understand the heart is now so much thick, so much hypertrophy, increase inside, dilated. So there is lot of damage to the heart. This is nothing but clinically known as chronic IHD. IHD means ischemic heart disease. So what is clinical? It's progressive CHF may occur in patients who have had a past episodes of MI, as I said. If it is in coronary artery disease, then no pre-MI or anginal attacks, and in some individuals, however, progressive myocardial damage is silent, of course we know, and the heart failure is the first indication of the IHD, so remember that. And the diagnosis rests largely on the exclusion of other cardiac diseases, and the patients with the chronic IHD account for nearly half of the cardiac transplant recipients. So now let us understand the sudden cardiac death. So this is about 3 lakhs to 4 lakh individuals, mainly in the US, are affected by this. So sudden cardiac death is nothing but suddenly the person dies because of the cardiac arrest. So how this happens? It is an unexpected death from a cardiac cause, of course, in individuals without the symptomatic heart disease. That is what, because if they show symptoms, we will diagnose and we can clear it, but it is mostly asymptomatic and or early after a symptom onset, just within 1 hour. So even the person shows symptom, then only within 1 hour they'll die. So this SCD is usually a consequence of a lethal arrhythmias. So especially you can take examples as asystole, ventricular fibrillations. So whenever we find this, we should be so careful that within 1 hour the patient may die, and it most frequently occurs in the setting of IHD. So what is the main cause of this sudden cardiac death? That is nothing but the chronic IHD, that is chronic ischemic heart disease, mainly causes a sudden cardiac death. So whenever the patient is in chronic IHD, it's very severe because he may undergo sudden cardiac death anytime. And in most frequently occurs, and in some cases this SCD is the first clinical manifestation of IHD. So this is also one more important point. So this sudden cardiac death is also a first clinical manifestation sometimes to IHD. So this acute myocardial ischemia is the most common trigger for the fatal arrhythmias. So most of the fatal arrhythmias are because of acute myocardial ischemia. So this is also one of the most reason. And also this fatal arrhythmias usually result from acute ischemic induced electrical instability of myocardium, that is distant from the conduction system. So the erythromyogenic foci are often located adjacent to the scars left by old MIs, of course, because as MI is formed only, these all are forming. As MI is formed, first chronic IHD form. As chronic IHD is formed, this sudden cardiac death is formed. So these are all interlinked. So of course this erythromyogenic foci is present to the adjacent side of scars, because scars are formed by the old MIs, that is old myocardial infarcts are forming the scars, that is it is unable to contract. As it is unable to contract only, this chronic IHD is formed. As this chronic IHD is formed, this sudden cardiac death is formed. So all these are interlinked. So let us see some non-atherosclerotic conditions which are associated with SCD. So non-atherosclerotic means non-coronary artery conditions. So what are that? So if anyone ask a question that how sudden cardiac death comes, it is mainly because of ischemic heart disease, chronic ischemic heart disease, that is the main reason. But if the question is like non-atherosclerotic, that is from non-coronary origin, then we need to say the congenital structural or coronary artery abnormalities, or aortic valve stenosis, or mitral valve prolapse, or even myocarditis, and also cardiomyopathies, and dilated or hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Of course this is very important. This is the main cause, and these are all next some normal causes. And also pulmonary hypertension, hereditary or acquired cardiac arrhythmias, cardiac hypertrophy of any cause, example cardiac hypertension, or other miscellaneous causes like systemic metabolic and hemodynamic alterations, catecholamines and drugs of abuse, and particularly cocaine and methamphetamine. And next, coming to morphology. So marked coronary atherosclerosis is very critical about greater than 75% cases, and the stenosis involving one or more of the 3 major vessels is present in about 80 to 99% of SCD's victims, and only 10 to 20% of these cases are of non-atherosclerotic origin, and usually there are high grade stenosis, that is greater than 90%, and in approximately 1/2 acute plaque disruption is observed, and in approximately 25% of diagnostic changes of acute MI are seen. So this suggests that many patients who die suddenly are suffering an MI, of course, but the short interval from the onset to the death precludes the development of diagnostic myocardial changes. So however, in one study of those who had been successfully resuscitated from a sudden cardiac arrest, a new MI occurred in only 39% of the patients. So thus, most the SCDs is not associated with the acute MI, as we already discussed. So most of these deaths are tough to result from myocardial ischemia induced irritability that irritates the malignant ventricular arrhythmias. So scars of the previous infarcts and the subendocardial myocyte vascularization indicate of severe chronic ischemia are common in such patients. So this is the morphology we need to understand whenever we see this SCDs. And next, coming to the heritable conditions. So here we have the heritable conditions are mainly associated with the SCD. Of course, sometimes they are heritable. Main importance what we need to see is provide a basis for the intervention in the surviving family members. And some of these disorders are associated with the recognizable anatomic abnormalities within the family members. So example, you can say congenital anomalies like hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, mitral valve prolapse. So any of this family member has it, then their children or their relatives may have a chance to get it. So this is heritable. And however, other heritable arrhythmias can precipitate sudden death in absence of structural cardiac pathology, so-called primary electrical disorders. So sometimes even in the families we may not see it suddenly arises. So these syndromes can only be diagnosed definitely by a genetic testing, so which is performed in those with a positive family history or unexplained non-lethal arrhythmia. So we need to do the genetic test before itself to prevent this. If those family have a history of any heart diseases, or sometimes we also see some people die suddenly even though they doesn't have any cardiac histories, then even from that families too we need to take this gene test. And next, the primary electrical abnormalities of the heart that predispose to SCD include, so what are the ECG changes? That is long QT syndrome and Brugada syndrome, and also you can see short QT syndrome. So these are the ECG changes. And catecholaminergic polymorphic ventricular tachycardia, Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, and also congenital sick sinus syndrome and isolated cardiac conduction disease. So these are all we need to remember. And the most important of these disorders are so called the channelopathies. So what is this channelopathies? Let us understand, which are caused by mutations in genes that are required for the normal ion channel function. You know there is ion channel function, sodium, potassium, and not only sodium, potassium, many ions. So main ion channel dysfunction is nothing but channelopathies. So these disorders mostly with the autosomal dominant in it, they are also inherited, either involve the genes that encode the ion channels including sodium, potassium and calcium, or accessory proteins that are essential for the normal function of the same channels. So even it may affect on the proteins which are required for this sodium, potassium, calcium, or directly affect on the sodium, potassium and calcium channels, so which are responsible for conducting the electrical currents that mediate the contraction of the heart. So the prototype is a long QT syndrome characterized by prolongation of QT segment in an electrocardiograms and also susceptibility to malignant ventricular arrhythmia. So sometimes it is also because of cancers, and mutations in 7 different genes account for the majority of the cases of the long QT syndrome. So we can see it is mainly due to mutations in the 7 different genes. So the most frequent mutations are in the gene encoding to KCNQ1. So this is important, KCNQ1 gene, and result in the decreased potassium currents. So the KCNQ1 you can remember as K, potassium K, like that. So results in the decreased potassium currents, and ion channels are needed for the normal function of many tissues, and certain channelopathies are also associated with the skeletal muscle disorders and also diabetes. So diabetes and skeletal muscle disorders. However, the most common cardiac channelopathies are isolated disorders of the heart. So prognosis of many patients vulnerable to SCD, including those with chronic IHD, is markedly improved by implantation of a pacemaker or an automatic cardioverter defibrillator. So nowadays we are using this pacemaker or an automatic cardioverter defibrillator which senses and electrically counteracts an episode of ventricular fibrillation. So as we are using this, we can prevent this SCDs nowadays. So this is all about chronic ischemic heart disease and also sudden cardiac death pathology.